Today we're going to talk about the P word, practice. Dun dun dun. Is this how you practice? Sleeping with a guitar in your hands counts as long as you don't drop it. Truth is, you have to actually finger the G string to make progress. Actually working on new techniques, scales, and chords. It's a tiny sliver. Mindless noodling. This is not the graph that you want to represent your practice sessions. You're not going anywhere without a plan. Unless you want to sound like DJ Khaled or Lil Wayne. Get back on track with my free guitar newsletter below. You get tabs, tips, and tricks, practice strategies. If you really want to blow up though, you're going to want to score my full music theory course below. How to play fast, songwriting, scales, chords, keys, composition, even orchestration. Set yourself apart and develop that unique sound. So I want to talk about how to practice like a songwriter. And in order to do that, we're going to use guitar modes as a demonstration. It could be any topic, but we're going to tackle the modes today. And I'm going to show you how to make music while you practice. Practice is grueling work for a lot of people because they don't understand how to use the F word, fun. What's the point of drilling patterns up and down your hardwood if you're not making music? And here's where everybody gets it twisted. I mean, is your solo like this, dude, where you're just flooding it with pentatonic licks and you got nothing else? You can expand your color palette with the modes. Each mode is like a magical musical mood. No one on the internet teaches modes like I do. The whole point of my pedagogy or teaching methods is to give you song seeds that you can create larger pieces or compositions with. By making music when you practice, your retention and your mental ability to remember things increases. A mode is not just a scale. There's three components I'm going to show you to modes today. And it's the scale, which you already know, but then there's chords. And after that, we're going to use the C word, counterpoint. Counterpoint is basically putting the scale and the chords together to make a musical phrase. So I'm going to get my axe on and prepare to finger the G string. Now, one thing that's really important when you practice is to have a sound that inspires you. I have something drenched with reverb and delay here. Sounds like this. It's almost like a David Gilmour patch. This will make you want to play as opposed to putting down your hardwood after only 6.9 seconds of fingering the G string. Now let's practice the Ionian scale. We're going to do 4 beats of count in, and we're going to play the shape exactly as it is. It's in 3 octaves, going across all 6 strings. You ready? Here we go. One more time. Now here's where most people's modal knowledge ends. Chords come next. Today I'm going to show you some simple beginner guitar chords. The chords! Now these chords are extremely difficult, and that's the way chords feel as a beginner sometimes. The primary chords for the Aeolian Mode are A, D, and E, or 1, 4, and 5. Always, always, never, never, ever play a chord progression without a pedal tone. And a pedal tone is just a sustained pitch. The reason I say that is because this provides the tonal framework to train your ears and to digest a sound. If you do not use a pedal tone, you simply won't understand the language of music. Type in A drone like I've done here in YouTube, and then I'm using a track. This is called Cosmic Drone in A by Alfred Potter. Click play, and you hear that sustained pitch, and then try playing those chords, A major, D, and E. See how glorious that sounds? The reason this is so effective is because you're confirming the sound source and the tonal reference point from many different angles. That's always in your ears. It's just sustained. It never stops. You need that. You need to hear that. This is what the ancients called the music of the spheres. Now you can kind of simulate that on your own if you don't have a computer or whatever the case may be by just playing open strings, right? That's the A open string. Let's practice the A Ionian chords. You ready? 4 beats and then we're in. That's a song in itself right there. With my practice method, you're making music while teaching yourself the guitar fretboard, the notes, different chord shapes, and scale patterns. This is maximally efficient. We just have one more step to complete the process of practicing a mode, and that is the C word, counterpoint. Counterpoint is 2 melodies or more at once. It's basically just putting the scale and the chords together into one short musical exercise or statement. It's like a little cadence. Let's practice our A Ionian counterpoint. Here we go. When you've learned every scale on guitar, feel like a god. We're not quite there yet, but at least you have one more in your library aside from pentatonic. I mean, if this is you about to take my guitar solo and you got 2 options, pentatonic scale or pentatonic scale, you're fucked. One of the most popular modes is the Dorian Mode. Pink Floyd uses this and many other bands. It's a combination of dark and light. So it's a minor scale, that minor third, but then you have a major sixth. And the chord progression is just so delicious. You have A minor and D. Oh, yeah. That's it right there. Let's practice the A Dorian Mode. 4-beat count in. Let's go. And again. If you just stop there, you're not going to be writing any songs. There's no context. Just playing through this pattern is meaningless. Unless you play over a drone. If you're practicing a scale like Dorian or any mode over a drone, you're going to hear it then. But that's not the way people practice. It's not the way you're practicing, is it? So let's add the chords to give ourselves more context. You ready? Let's practice the Dorian chords. Here we go. I'm engineering this practice strategy or method to make music while simultaneously learning the guitar fretboard, chord shapes, and scale patterns. It's brilliant. This is a song right here. You could make a chord progression in a song. That could be a chorus or a pre-chorus or a verse. That's music right there. Let's try some A Dorian counterpoint. The idea with the C word counterpoint is to give you practical sort of riffs that you could build with. So you could have a situation like this with the first 2 counterpoint moves. And I'm just outlining the primary chords. This is an A minor sound, this is a D sound. Here's another A minor sound, another D sound, another A minor sound. Or we could do this one, another A minor sound, another D sound. That's contrary motion. Everything you do when you practice should be in service to making music. Otherwise, you're going to get caught up in athletic, masturbatory performance. And the only people you impress doing that is yourself. Moving on to the dark and haunting Phrygian Mode. Let's hear the Phrygian Mode to the drone. have the root, the almunus flat second, the minor third, the fourth, the fifth, the flat sixth, the minor seventh, and then you're back to the root. And with Phrygian, you have these very dark chords. So you have A minor, and then you have a B flat, or this would be, that's a cool way to do it. So those are all just different ways to play a Phrygian chord progression. Don't get it twisted, man. The first question people ask me when I teach modes is, aren't there more chords than just the two that you show me? And the answer is no. The composition is when you play the same thing in different ways. If you just try to play different chords all the time and never repeat yourself, you're basically making atonal music, and no one wants to hear that. The artistry and the music is in doing the same thing in a different way, right? These are all A minor and B flat chords that I'm playing, but they're just different ways of doing that. Here are the Phrygian chords. I'm just going to give you one simple exercise. You got the A minor and then the B flat. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. We got to practice the A Phrygian scale first, so let's do that. And again. Now the A Phrygian chords, let's get to those. A minor and B flat. Absolutely magical and haunting. Remember that modes are moods. The whole point of learning theory is to take what you're feeling inside and put that out into the world. Because guess what? If you're feeling it, someone else is too. I never get sick of this mode. I could listen to those chords all day long. The only thing that would stop me is this 72-pound Les Paul that I'm holding. It's going to break my back before I can play 69 reps of Phrygian chords. I hope you have your guitar in your hand, because this is absolute gold to be practicing. I hope this method is making sense to you. I know it's new because no one else teaches modes this way, I promise. The only guy that I share something in common with is Frank Gambale, the jazz fusion player. He has a modal course called Modes No More Mystery. And in that course, he teaches you chord progressions for modes. It's such an important concept. If you don't pair chord progressions and musical phrases with modes, they're really pointless. Like, just don't even learn them. So without an understanding of music theory, you're going to be just completely lost in the weeds when it comes to modes. Lydian is next. This is the 4th degree of the major scale. It's a magical sounding mode. Listen to the Count of Tuscany by Dream Theater. It's very common in progressive metal and rock. It sounds like this. You got your root, 2nd degree, 3rd, sharp 4th. That's the money note, the 5th, the major 6th, the 7th. Back to the root. And the chord progression with Lydian is major 1 or A to major 2 or B. That is pure magic. It makes us cry at the movies. Here we go. We're going to practice the Aeolian Mode. Let's go. One more time. Chord progression for Lydian, A and B. If you do not use a pedal tone when you practice this chord progression, you might as well not practice it at all because you're not going to hear it. This is an ear training exercise as much as anything else. So make sure that that A string is open. Don't do this. Don't do A major to B like that where you change the root to B. That's just not Lydian. Lydian is keeping the A the same. There it is. Very important to reinforce the tonal bedrock of a sound. Here we go. A C word. Dun, dun, dun. Now, chances are you haven't even heard of counterpoint if you're a guitar player, at least if you're a rock guitar player. Counterpoint is something that Bach used in his music, and that's really where I'm getting this idea from. I'm just adapting it to a 21st century context. It's extremely practical. I'm not talking about like fugues and all that fancy stuff. This is a way that you can write music and make your exercises sound better. A Lydian counterpoint. Now let's mix it up with the fifth mode of the major scale, Mixolydian. This mode is all about having a good time. It's a party sound. Let's get the drone going. You got the root, the second, the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth. That's the Mixolydian note, the flat 7. Then you're back to the root. That's the only difference between Mixolydian and major is that flat 7th. For the chords, you have A major and G. It's an absolutely glorious sound. This is the official mode of classic rock. Let's practice the scale pattern for Mixolydian. Give it to me one more time. The chords. We're going to use that A. A stands for it's asinine, how cool Mixolydian is. Then we're going to go to this G major chord here. There's different ways you could do these, to be honest, right? Like I've been showing you. Could be this. It's a lot, like once you learn a progression, try it in different inversions in different areas on the neck if you're at a high enough level to understand chord inversions. Here we go. It's a really cool sound, and it's a mood. It's translating something to the listener. It's saying, hey, everything's going to be all right. That's like the official message of classic rock songs. So maybe you're in a Mixolydian mood one day, try using that. It's great for like Irish sounding music as well. A Mixolydian counterpoint. A Aeolian Mode is next. This is the same thing as the minor scale. A Aeolian Mode or minor scale. You've got the first degree, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and then you're back to the root there. A minor, F, and G for the chords. This is the Iron Maiden strategy. All right, let's rep the Aeolian scale. 4 beats and we're in. One more time. chords for Aeolian. Minor 1, then we've got the flat 6 chords, magical, and the flat 7, 4 back to 1. You're going to be a master songwriter and composer if you can absorb these concepts. Who knows, you could maybe even write a Spotify number 69 hit. Now, for Aeolian counterpoint, we're going to be playing these 2 notes at a time. They're going to be outlining the chord progression, and of course, using scale patterns as well. The ultimate exercise. Sounds like you're lost in a magical medieval forest. Now finally, we've gotten to the last mode, Locrian. This is the most evil. It's the one that nobody really knows what to do with, understandably so, because the home bass chord is built on tension. There's no real resolution possible. Let's get an idea for what this extremely wicked mode sounds like. You have the root, the flat 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, flat 5th, whoa, flat 6th, 7, back to 1. And the chord progression is a half diminished 7th chord, which is just unsettling, to say the least. Let's practice the A Locrian scale in 3 octaves. Here we go. And again. Here's a short Locrian chord progression you can use. Always reinforcing that root. Now, Locrian counterpoint, this is twisted AF, but I actually really like it because I'm a twisted person. Let's try it out here. A Locrian counterpoint. Those moves. I love that. There's that tritone chord there, and then the resolution. I'm just playing octaves to avoid the fact that there is no resolution. That's really the home bass chord right there, which does not sound resolved. This is the absolute best way to practice. People ask me how to practice all the time. This is the way that you do it. Make music with your exercises. Talk about this stuff every day on Discord. The way you get into my Discord is to sign up for my Patreon page. Join a community of people who are all practicing, increasing their chops, and trying to become the best artists and musicians they can. Now go out, my guitarists, into the world and make music like Cardi B and DJ Khaled. I mean, wait. What I meant to say was make music like Dave Mustaine and James Hetfield.